As you can see, we do have a little bit of wind. Well, good morning YouTube, and welcome back to Retired for Life. So we are still working on our renovated building here. So the plan is to do the east and west wall. That's this wall and the wall opposite to me here first. So I've got my building wrap, so I'm going to put a piece on these two sides. Lots of work to do, so let's get at it here. I have got house wrap that measures 9 feet by 100 feet, because I have a few jobs to do besides this one. All right, let's go get our roll of wrap and get it up here, and we'll get ready to cut it. Oh, it's even got markings on it. Well, that's cool. This is another one of those many things that I've never done before. So we'll get 3 more of these cut and rolled up, and then we'll go to the game of struggling to get one in place. Well, guys, it's a bit of a rainy day out there, so I'm not working on the reconditioned building, and I have come back to give you a little follow-up on this. I have given up. So I've had the gas on, had the propane onto it, had the jet out. I can actually get flame from the jet. I cleaned the jet, so I know it's in good condition. I checked the ceramic screen that's in through here. It's nice and clean. While it was split, all the buildup of corrosion and stuff in the exhaust got all cleaned. I have a new glow plug in it. I had the glow plug out, ran it through its cycle. I know the glow plug works. It came on. The thermostat here, I had out. It was a little bit corroded, so I cleaned it up. Check the resistance on it. I know it works. I fired it up, I don't know how many times, and at one point I did actually feel some heat starting to build up, and then it went out. So I'm done. I've spent enough money on it. It's also got a new regulator on it. I'm scrapping it. So it's going to go, and I'm going to replace it with this. Now, I've done my research. This seems to be one of the better ones out on the market right now, and it's a good size, so it'll hold lots of bugs. It will need to. So we'll pop this thing out of the box and have a quick look at it, see what's in here. Well, there it is. It seems really simple. Unlock and lift, and there's your catch basket. And it's got kind of a flap inside so things can't get out. Set it back on, turn it, lock it, you're good to go. It looks like you can leave it sitting on something or hang it. It even comes with a little hanger and a brush for cleaning it out. And let's see what it does here. So you can see the lights turn on in the top there. And the little flaps in the bottom, just from the force of the breeze from the fan, open up. Very simple. It looks pretty good. So we'll get it hung up, give it a couple of weeks, and we'll see how it works. Well, I hope you guys have been enjoying today's video, and if you are enjoying it, I'd really appreciate the like. And I'd love to have you subscribe to the channel. And if you've got any suggestions, thoughts, anything like that, I'd love to hear from you. All right, let's get back to work. I'm probably asking for trouble looking to do this morning, but it's supposed to be a rainy day, but it's really not raining. Although there's some really black clouds coming in behind us here. So I am going to try and get my first piece of house wrap up on this wall kind of in the middle of this break here. The wind is going to play havoc on us without a doubt. As you can see, we do have a little bit of wind. I should have a second ladder up here, but I don't. Well, now, be nice here just for a minute. Oh, I can hear the wind coming through the trees. That is so close. The joys of working alone. Tall enough. Oh, that wind is going to get me. I'm almost in position here on the top. Well, it's a little bit crooked, but I've got that big overlap inside and out. So that is not a problem. I'm actually surprised I got it up there. So my next challenge here is getting the strapping on. All right, let's start getting our strapping up. Holy mackerel, humid. Just sweating like a pig out here. So that's where the top of our boards are for the board and batten. That is the strap they'll get fastened to. So I've got a strap every 24 inches, and I've got ones at either end, one right along the bottom, because I want to box this in so I'm not creating a space that bugs can get into. All right, there's our strapping on. Now, it looks funny when you first look at it because the wrap isn't perfectly level and the ground isn't perfectly level. I was looking at it thinking, oh, I've got something really wrong here. It's on an angle, but it's really not. Everything is sitting perfect the way it should. So I'm just going to trim these ends off and wrap them around, take the bit off the beam on the top, and that'll have this side actually ready for siding. All right, guys, so we now have both east and west walls wrapped and strapped. So they are basically ready for the sidings. Once I have the boards on both sides, then I can put the roof trusses up, because I need the roof trusses up in order to make sure that they're straight and square, and I can put the end boards on. So the plan is to take all of my boards that I've got here. I'm going to need about 17 boards per side. So all of the boards I'm going to cut about a 30-degree angle on the bottom, with the long side facing out and the bow on each board facing out if they have them. And most of them have got a slight bow. So what I want to do is encourage the rainfall to drip away from the building rather than creeping up and around kind of thing. So this 30-degree angle on the outside of these boards should help prevent the rain from kind of going around and up on the bottom of the boards. So I'm set here at 30 degrees now. Let's try cutting one and see what it looks like. That's simple enough. So I'm going to take probably the worst end and cut my 30-degree on all of those. And then after that 30-degree cut is done, I will then cut my board length to 90 inches. And I got a little over that for the most part. So I've got 96 there. So that's good. That should work very nicely. First board going up. Okay, we're underway. So I have decided on a 3/4 inch spacing in here. And what I've done is make up these little fixtures to put on the boards. And then my next board just butts up against those. Let's see how that works. Well, I think that's going to do the trick. Yeah, looks like that's going to work real good. Well, there we are, guys. Our first wall with the boards on it. Now I still have to put my screws in the edges of these boards. I just got them screwed top and bottom. And you can see why board and batten can be kind of heavy. This particular board, right at this knot, took quite a curve over to the side. And that kind of threw everything off a little bit. So I just kind of split it up. And the batten is going to cover that bigger gap. So when the batten's on, you won't see that. So that's good. So I think that will be it for today. We're going to go in, take a breather, and get a bite to eat. And we'll see you guys in the morning. Well, we've got another beautiful day today. So I got another load of boards ready to go for the west side. So let's get the tractor. We're going to drag our board cart out of the shop with the boards on it and get them up here. There's our boards all cut to length with the ends cut on an angle, just like the other side. So let's park the tractor and get to work. So we're all ready to put boards up. I'm going to put the camera into time lapse and we'll have some fun watching that take place. I do have a few boards in this pile that have got a pretty good wow in them, but I want to use them. So the same as on the other side. I'll have to do a little bit of compensating for that. And I've got to put the level on the one side of the boards every 3 or 4 boards kind of thing to make sure I'm staying straight, because I don't want to get all the way over to this end and discover that I'm out by 6 inches on the top or bottom. That would look a little weird. So we don't want that to happen. All right, first board is up. Our boards are ready to go. Let's get you guys into time lapse and get some boards in place. right, guys, so there is our last two boards on. Now, I cut these two down to 6¼ inch wide from the standard 8-inch wide. So I get everything evened out quite nicely, and it's not too big of a jump, which is why I did two boards rather than one. So let's talk a little bit about board and batten and how it works. So a true board and batten siding is ideal when you're dealing with green lumber. When put up traditionally, board and batten will allow your lumber to shrink, move around, that kind of thing as it dries, so it doesn't split or anything like that in the process. For me, that part doesn't really matter because all of my boards have been sitting drying for pretty much a year, so they're pretty dry. But anyway, so my understanding of the traditional way to install board and batten is, as you see it here, you've got a gap in between each board. It can be 1 inch, it can be 3 inches, depends on how wide your batten is. Now I'm going with 3-inch wide battens, so I decided to keep my gap to 3/4 inch. So what happens is when you put your boards on, you've got your strapping in behind here, and you put one screw in to your strapping quite close to the edge of the board, but only one. You don't put one on both sides. You just put one in there, and that goes along on all your strapping on the same side of the board. You can't put it on one side and then switch over to the opposite side on the next piece of strapping. That again will introduce stress into the board as it's drying and shrinking or swelling kind of thing. So with those screws in place down the one side, you can then put your batten on, and you put one screw right through the middle of your batten back into your straps. So you still have one screw visible, but your batten covers the other screw, so you don't have a whole bunch of screws showing. And it makes for a pretty nice looking siding once it's done. And as I say, ideal for when you're using green lumber. So it's a pretty clever system, and it works very nicely. So with the strapping and the boards in place for my board and batten, we're now ready to start looking at the roof. But that's going to be for the next video. So as usual, I want to thank you guys very much for watching. And if you found these videos interesting, or at the very least entertaining, I'd really appreciate the thumbs up. And I'd love to have you subscribe to the channel. So thanks very much for watching, guys. And we'll see you out on the trails the next time.